Trucker of the Sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Sunday, June the 20th, 2021. It is the day of WWE Hell in a Cell. It is also Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Hope you guys are all having a great day today. I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch, Hook, Shoot. Head over to catchhookshoot.com. You can find everything about the show, all the podcast videos, interviews, photo gallery, anything you could possibly want about Catch, Hook, and Shoot. Make sure to check out the Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot. And you can find links to all that and a whole lot more at our Linktree, which is linktree/catchhookshoot. Or if you're watching on YouTube, scan this little QR code right here in the corner, and it'll take you right there. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So let's dive into everything going on in the wonderful world of pro wrestling this week, starting it off like we always do with the match of the week. Alright, so this week's match of the week comes from NXT TakeOver in Your House last week, and it was the main event for the NXT Championship. Karrion Kross defending against Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Pete Dunne, and Johnny Gargano. Arguably the five best guys in NXT right now, and this match was just ridiculously good. I mean, these five guys went out there and just left everything in the ring. Just an amazing match all around. Karrion Kross did retain the championship. If you have not seen this match yet, what the hell is wrong with you? Go back and watch this match. It's just... I mean, saying it was a great match does not do it justice. You know, you've got to see these five guys go in there and just beat the living hell out of each other. Some crazy spots. And like I said, Karrion Kross did retain the championship. So, yeah, definitely go back, check it out. NXT in Your House from last week. Karrion Kross against Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Pete Dunne, and Johnny Gargano. You do not want to miss this one, so go back and check it out. So let's get right into the next segment of the show where I count down my top 3 highlights of the week, and that one is called the 3 count. So first up on the 3 count, Samoa Joe returns to NXT. Returned on this past Tuesday. It looked like William Regal was about to step down as general manager, and Karrion Kross came out basically getting in his face, telling him, you know, you're not in charge anymore, you don't run things anymore, get the hell out of here. Samoa Joe came out, and Regal basically implied that he was going to name Samoa Joe as his successor as the general manager to NXT, to which Samoa Joe declined, but Joe ended up becoming kind of Regal's enforcer, assistant general manager. Not sure what exactly you'd want to call it, but it looks like Joe will be working alongside William Regal as somewhat of an authority figure, which I think it's pretty cool. I honestly, I'd much rather see Joe in the ring, but I think this is kind of a cool spot to put him in. Don't know, there's conflicting reports as to whether or not he's actually cleared to wrestle again, so you know, who knows if we're going to see Joe in the ring, but we did see him go. Basically, the stipulation was made: Joe cannot get physical with anybody unless he is physically provoked, which did happen with Adam Cole, and Adam Cole ended up getting choked out, which was kind of a cool spot. Number 2 on the 3 count, Ted DiBiase takes a bump for the first time in I don't know how many years. This was also during NXT on Tuesday. DiBiase presenting the $1 Million Championship to LA Knight, who won the ladder match with Cameron Grimes at the In Your House pay-per-view, and basically LA Knight saying, you know, he doesn't need DiBiase, and punched him dead in the face, and DiBiase taking a bump, and Cameron Grimes comes out to make the save, so obviously that rivalry is going to continue over the $1 Million Championship, but pretty cool spot, definitely unexpected. I mean, I kind of expected LA Knight to turn on DiBiase and all that. Didn't expect it to get physical like that though. So it was kind of cool to see DiBiase, taking a bump. I mean, he's been wrestling since the 70s, so it just tells you how long he's been in the business, and he's still able to take a bump now and then when it's needed. So pretty cool spot. And number 3 on the 3 count, Don Callis fired as EVP of Impact Wrestling. Now, obviously, this storyline came out a few weeks ago that Callis was no longer officially, in reality, an EVP of Impact. But this time it was done on screen. Tommy Dreamer coming out as a representative of Anthem, and this stemming from Callis, quote unquote, firing Sami Callihan at the after the Impact World Championship match between Kenny Omega and Moose. So. So Tommy Dreamer representing Anthem, the Anthem Board of Directors, fired Don Callis for his actions. So, but obviously we're still going to see Callis as far as him being with Kenny Omega. Wouldn't surprise me to hear about him being under contract with AEW here sooner rather than later, if he's not already. I mean, he's been working as a consultant with AEW behind the scenes, as well as on screen with Kenny Omega as his manager, advisor, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I'm expecting to see something official as far as Don Callis being a part of AEW here pretty soon. All right, so let's get into everything else going on this week, starting with the NXT TakeOver In Your House results. Bronson Reed and MSK retained all of their championships against Legado del Fantasma in that winner-takes-all 6-man tag team match. Xia Li defeated Mercedes Martinez, and after the match, Mercedes kind of got in the face of Mei Ying, who's always at ringside with Xia Li, and Mei Ying just kind of decimated Mercedes, grabbed her in like a nerve hold under the chin, and just threw her off the stage. And Mei Ying getting physical. I'm wondering if we're going to see more of that going forward, because she's kind of that dark, mysterious puppet master type figure with Xia Li and Boa. I already talked about LA Knight defeated Cameron Grimes in that ladder match for the $1 Million Championship. Another very good match. I definitely recommend checking that one out as well. But like I said, LA Knight was victorious in that, so he is now the $1 Million Champion. Raquel Gonzalez retained the NXT Women's Championship against Ember Moon, and I already talked about Karrion Kross retaining in that Fatal 5-Way against Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Pete Dunne, and Johnny Gargano. So moving on to some WWE news here, we saw the re-debut of Eva Marie on Monday Night Raw, and it had been announced that it was going to be Eva versus Naomi in Eva's return match, but there were a lot of rumors swirling around that Eva would have kind of an enforcer or whatever you want to call it, and that it was going to be Piper Niven. That turned out to be true. Piper Niven did come out with Eva Marie. She actually wrestled the match against Naomi and picked up the win, but Eva was still announced as the winner. So, it's kind of not exactly the same as Eva's last run, where she, would have these matches and come out and would find a reason not to wrestle. Now it seems like Eva's going to be booked in these matches, but Piper's going to be the one actually wrestling. There's rumors going around about a name change for Piper Niven, which it's not good. It's just not good. The rumored name for Piper Niven is Dewdrop, which is just kind of ridiculous, honestly. But it's WWE. That's what they do. We also we found out Alexa Bliss will be taking on Shayna Baszler at Hell in a Cell, and Alexa actually picked up a victory in her first match in a while on Monday Night Raw. Got a win over Nia Jax, and kind of after the match, I guess hypnotized would be the right word, Reginald. Just kind of more or less put a spell on him, quote unquote, before she left the ring. So interesting spot there. Drew McIntyre picked up a pinfall over Bobby Lashley. This, of course, leading into the Hell in the Cell match with these two, and we'll get into the preview and predictions for that in a little while here. Moving on to NXT, we saw the debut of Trey Baxter, formerly known as Blake Christian, somebody who I've seen a number of times, called some of his matches for Warrior Wrestling, just a fantastic talent. He actually debuted against Kushida in an open challenge for the Cruiserweight Championship. Kushida did retain, but Trey Baxter put on a fantastic match. Actually got acknowledgement from Kushida as well as Kyle O'Reilly after the match. Kyle O'Reilly had come down to observe, and he challenged Kushida for next week. So Kyle O'Reilly now seems to have his sights set on the Cruiserweight title. Already talked about LA Knight attacking Ted DiBiase. Cameron Grimes made the save. Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae attacked returning Io Shirai in the ring, and save was made by Zoe Stark. So it looks like could be a tag team rivalry forming there for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Moving on to some SmackDown news, Shinsuke Nakamura is officially now the king of the ring, I guess you could say. He picked up a win over Baron Corbin, which was for the crown, which Nakamura had been carrying around the last several weeks after stealing it from Corbin. But now Nakamura officially the king of the ring. And the main event of SmackDown, kind of odd. The Universal Championship match that was supposed to take place at Hell in a Cell, inside Hell in a Cell, was moved from the pay-per-view to SmackDown. And Roman Reigns did retain against Rey Mysterio in, again, a very good match with these two guys. Another one I'd recommend checking out. And it looks like Jimmy Uso is starting to fall in line with Roman Reigns. We saw, some interaction with them at the top of the show. Jimmy Uso, kind of acknowledging Roman, and at the end of the match, Jimmy was the one to raise Roman's hand and kind of have his back. Now, we did not see Jey Uso this week, so I would assume since Jimmy seems to be falling in line, we're going to see Jey coming back, and we're going to see a bit more cohesion with the bloodline as they were previously known, Roman Reigns and the Usos. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Getting into some AEW news, Jake Hager defeats Wardlow in an MMA rules match, and this was kind of surprising to me because it was pretty damn good. It was supposedly under MMA rules, no judges, could only win by knockout, submission, or referee stoppage, and everybody knows Jake Hager is a legit MMA fighter. So I did not expect him to lose this match just because he is a legit MMA fighter. He's got an undefeated record. So him losing a staged quote unquote MMA match could be detrimental to him in that aspect. So Hager did get the win, but Wardlow put on a pretty damn good showing. And at the end of the match, it looked like we were going to see a handshake or show respect between both guys because they were standing in the ring, just kind of looking at each other, and Hager was extending the hand, and at that point Shawn Spears went on the attack against Hager. Chris Jericho jumps in, MJF jumps in, and but so it kind of planting a seed maybe of Wardlow breaking away from the Pinnacle. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen within the next week or anything like that, but like I said, planting a seed, showing respect to Jake Hager, and looked almost a little hesitant to join in on the brawl in the aftermath of this match, which was broken up by Dean Malenko of all people, and definitely not expected. And then MJF attacks Dean Malenko. And so we saw Malenko get taken down during the aftermath of this whole brawl and everything. So kind of an interesting spot there. Definitely got some big time heat for MJF, as if he didn't have enough already. But definitely a very good opening match for Dynamite. Then we saw Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky defeat Darby Allin in what was essentially a handicap match. They had challenged Darby to a tag team match with a partner, anybody but Sting, basically was the stipulation. And Darby pretty much just said, no, I'll take you both on my own, which, damn good match with these three guys. But, Page and Sky, just the numbers advantage, they did pick up the win. We saw Kenny Omega attack Jungle Boy backstage. They of course have their AEW World Title match coming up on the 26th of the Saturday edition of Dynamite that's coming up next week. We saw the debut of Brock Anderson, Arn Anderson's son, teaming up with Cody Rhodes against Aaron Solo and QT Marshall. And, pretty good debut. I mean, for his first time in the ring, Brock Anderson held his own, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I mean, The guy is Arn Anderson's son. He's been trained well by Arn, by Cody, and if they didn't think he was ready to get in the ring, he wouldn't have been in the ring. So I thought it was a pretty damn good match, and Brock and Cody did pick up the victory in that one. We saw a sit-down interview with Andrade El Idolo and Jim Ross, where Andrade said he and Vicky Guerrero have a surprise. And of course, this started all kinds of speculation. Could it be Zelina Vega, or Thea Trinidad, as is her real name? Possibly coming in as, Vicky's the manager, so I would assume if the surprise is Thea Trinidad, she's going to be coming in as a wrestler, which is fantastic. She would definitely be a huge addition to the AEW women's division, but there's no guarantee that that's what the surprise is, so we'll have to wait and see, but that's what a lot of the speculation is. Let's see, then we had a women's match. Penelope Ford got a win over Julia Hart in a pretty good women's match there, and afterwards we saw Miro come out talking to Penelope Ford, saying, "Where's Kip Sabian?" Obviously, Kip Sabian out injured because of Miro in storyline anyway. And, saw Miro go after the Varsity Blondes, which ended up in a huge brawl between Brian Pillman Jr. and Miro. So could we be seeing Brian Pillman possibly going after the TNT Championship? I'd definitely be up for a Pillman versus Miro match. But again, speculation coming out of this one, could we see the possibly the debut coming of CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana, of course Miro's wife, to kind of further the storyline with Miro and Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. So we'll have to see what's going on with that one. And then the Good Brothers and Matt Jackson picked up a win over Eddie Kingston, Penta, and Frankie Kazarian, with a little bit of help from Nick Jackson, who supposedly had the night off, but interfered at the end of the match in helping his brother and the Good Brothers pick up the win in that one. And like I said, this coming week for Dynamite it will be on Saturday, and we're going to see that world title match between Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy. I expect that to be a damn good match. I love that they're kind of slowly pushing Jungle Boy into that main event spot, and I like that that's kind of how AEW works. I mean, there's a handful of guys that are going to be the future of AEW, and they're building them slowly. They're not just thrusting them into the main event picture, and those guys are Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, MJF, Wardlow. I put in that list as well, and they're starting to get a little more of the spotlight put on them slowly, and starting to, it's developing what I would call naturally, organically, and the fans are definitely behind them. So I'm liking what AEW is doing with these guys. Some Impact news. We found out Ultimate X is going to be returning at Slammiversary for the X Division Championship. Ultimate X matches are always just absolutely amazing, so I can't wait to see that one. We saw the return of Chris Sabin, who went after Moose. Moose, of course, the one that put Sabin on the shelf, and Sabin put out the challenge for Slammiversary, so I'm pretty sure we're going to see that match. Deonna Purrazzo apparently is done with Kimberly and Susan, just because their plans aren't going according to plan, as they put it. So gotta see what's next. Are we going to see possibly Kimberly or Susan or Su Yung or Susie or somebody one of the personalities there going after Deonna for the Impact Knockouts Championship? Steve Macklin, formerly known as Steve Cutler in WWE, made his debut, and it was a pretty damn impressive debut, just very, very dominant. So I'm interested to see what direction they're going to go with him. And we're continuing to see more tension between Jordynne Grace and Rachel Ellering. I'm fairly certain that this is going to lead to a heel turn for Jordynne Grace, which I'm interested to see. Jordynne typically a babyface, but now she kind of showing some of those heel tendencies with her tag team partner Rachel Ellering. So I'm just waiting for that moment where we see Jordynne just do that full-on heel turn. And then in the main event of the show, Kojima defeated Rhino, and that earns Kojima and Eddie Edwards a tag team championship match next week against Violence by Design. And then, of course, at the end of the show is when we saw the appearance from Tommy Dreamer and the firing of Don Callis, and also the reinstatement of Sami Callihan, who Callis had fired. A little bit of MLW news this week. Richard Holiday is going to be defending his Caribbean Championship against Mil Muertes, or King Muertes as he's now known, at the Battle Riot event coming up in July, MLW's return to TV. Ring of Honor, the Survival of the Fittest tournament, Eli Isom and Brian Johnson both advanced this week. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with this, Survival of the Fittest, it's a 12-man tournament. So basically you have 6 matches, and the 6 winners go into just a 6-way match, and the winner of that gets a world championship match. So I'm interested to see how this is going to work out. Some pretty big news out of New Japan. The Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, are returning to New Japan for their tag team Turbulence event coming up. That announcement was made this past week. So not actually returning to Japan. This is going to be part of New Japan Strong, which takes place at their U.S. under their U.S. banner. But still, Gallows and Anderson returning to wrestling under the New Japan banner. So that is some pretty big news right there. And again, that's that forbidden door being kicked open. Gallows and Anderson now, appearing for Impact and AEW and now New Japan. That's insane. So that's can't wait to see what else is going to come out of all these relationships that are going on in pro wrestling right now. Some NWA news. JTG has advanced in the national title tournament, picked up a win over Fred Rosser and El Rudo, who is Sam Adonis. I know you guys have heard me talk about him quite a bit as it pertains to Warrior Wrestling. He's now wrestling with the NWA as well, and was part of that national championship tournament. So Sam Adonis, he's all over the place between independents, the NWA, AAA in Mexico now. So yeah, huge congrats to Sam Adonis, but also JTG again, making his return to wrestling and advancing in the tournament for the NWA National Heavyweight Championship. So we'll have to see how that one turns out. So let's get into the previews and predictions for Hell in a Cell coming up tonight on the WWE Network or Peacock or however you're watching that one. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. This right here, I'm going to say this has the potential to steal the show, and also I'm saying an early contender for match of the week, just because two of the best in-ring guys in WWE, bar none. So, but for this one, I got to go with Cesaro in this one. I think Cesaro seems to be getting a little bit of a push, but it's not the first time it's happened. They'll push him, then they'll pull him back. So I'm hoping this time they go through with it and see it to the end. So I'm picking Cesaro in this one. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. We've seen this match a million times, and it never gets old. These two always put on an amazing match. So this time is going to be no different, and I got to pick Kevin Owens in this one, unless we see some kind of chicanery from Sami Zayn. But I'm picking Kevin Owens. Then we got Alexa Bliss taking on Shayna Baszler. I got to pick Alexa in this one, unless we see that monster Shayna Baszler that we saw when she first debuted come back, which I really would like to see. But with the way that they're currently positioning Alexa, I got to pick her in this one. I'm wondering, what kind of stuff we're going to see as far as like the quote-unquote supernatural stuff from Alexa Bliss. Are we going to see the fire shooting out of the ring posts? Are we going to see her transformations to her old character throughout the match like we've seen before? So I'm very, very interested in this one. I think most people know Alexa's still one of my favorite parts of Monday Night Raw every week. So I'm really interested in this match. Then we've got the Raw Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley defending against Charlotte Flair. I'm picking Rhea to retain, but it wouldn't be a huge surprise to see Charlotte win the championship. But I'm picking Rhea in this one, just because at this point, number one, from a realistic standpoint, Charlotte doesn't need the title. She's gotten to that level. She doesn't need to be the champion to be the top person in the women's division. So I'm picking Rhea Ripley to retain. Of course, Charlotte's going to complain and, that it wasn't fair and stuff like that just to advance her current character and storyline. But I'm picking Rhea to retain in this one. Then we've got 2 Hell in a Cell matches. First one for the Smackdown Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Bayley. I can't wait to see this one. I like the rivalry they've been building with these two. And, I think they're just going to go out there and beat the hell out of each other. And I can't, really can't wait to see this one. I'm picking Bianca to retain in this one as well. And then for the WWE Championship, a last chance Hell in a Cell match. Bobby Lashley defending against Drew McIntyre. If McIntyre loses, he can no longer challenge for the WWE Championship while Bobby Lashley is champion. So based on that, I think McIntyre may be getting it back. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I mean, I could see Lashley getting it and, them moving McIntyre into a different storyline, different rivalry. Maybe somebody interferes in this match and that transitions Drew into a different rivalry, and then Lashley moves on to a new challenger and, take Drew out of the title picture for a little bit. Obviously, he's still a main event guy no matter what. But I would like to see Bobby Lashley retain and move on to just a completely new challenger. I'd love to see this be the opportunity for Keith Lee to come back. A lot of speculation around Keith Lee and his status with WWE as of late, but I think this would be the perfect opportunity to split Lashley and Drew from each other and move, bring back Keith Lee, throw him right into the title picture with Bobby Lashley, because I think the two of them could put on some fantastic matches. So I'm gonna pick Bobby Lashley in this one actually to retain. So let's break this down real quick. Bobby Lashley retaining, Rhea Ripley retaining, Bianca Belair retaining, Alexa Bliss over Shayna Baszler, Kevin Owens over Sami Zayn, and Cesaro over Seth Rollins. So we'll see how my predictions pan out for this one. And a little bit of miscellaneous stuff going on. Becky Lynch has been spotted at the WWE Performance Center, which of course is fueling speculation about her return. Could we see her, pop up at Hell in a Cell possibly during one of the women's championship matches? Becky Lynch, of course, never lost the women's championship. She gave it up to take time off due to her pregnancy. So, could we see Becky Lynch pop up during one of these women's title matches tonight? That I think would be pretty cool. And then some other kind of rumors floating around out there is that Fox and Universal are pushing for more special events from WWE, and some of the things that have been put out there is bringing back the King of the Ring tournament, possibly on Raw or SmackDown, or a combination of the two, which I was always a fan of the King of the Ring. If it was done right, I liked it as a pay-per-view. I honestly still think it should be a pay-per-view. I think there should be, I've said this for a long time, I think the King of the Ring pay-per-view should still be going on, and it should be a matter of whoever wins the King of the Ring, they get the title match at SummerSlam, kind of like whoever wins the Royal Rumble gets the title match at WrestleMania. I've been saying that for years, but, WWE's not listening, so whatever. But, so King of the Ring potentially coming back. There was also talk of a World Cup of Wrestling with participants from all brands across WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXTUK, to crown, I guess, a World Cup champion. I'm not sure how that would work. I'm assuming it would be some type of tournament format. Now, something like that I think would be a good opportunity for WWE to utilize a round-robin type tournament the way that New Japan does a lot of times. So, I mean, who knows if it's going to happen again? This is all just rumor and speculation. And supposedly some more stuff that's being pushed by Fox and Universal is some crossover with some of their other properties. Actually, this is more so with Fox, like with NASCAR and the NFL. I'm not too sure about this, and I'll get into that more in a little bit here. But this is just stuff that is supposedly being proposed by WWE's broadcast partners, to I guess to drive viewership and get some crossover exposure with some of their other properties. So we'll have to wait and see on this one, see how much truth there is to it. But yeah, not real sure about that. But like I said, I'll get into that in a minute here. So yeah, it's going to do it for news and rumors and all that kind of fun stuff for this week. So right now I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with the Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey to wrestling fans. I am Charlie G with this week's Indie Cut. There was quite a bit of wrestling action, so we begin with Saturday, June 12th, and Stardom's Tokyo Dream Cinderella Special Edition show. I mentioned this late last week, so I will get to all the results. I will start with actually the dark match, with Rina defeating Hina and Lady C. This was a little bit of history here, with Lady C finally not getting pinned after like 40 matches. So congrats to her, she didn't get pinned. So hopefully maybe she can get a win sometime in the next couple months. Then the Cinderella Tournament semifinal match number 1, with Maika defeating Unagi Sayaka, and semifinal match number 2 was Saya Kamatani defeating Himeka. Both matches were really good. Then there was a 3-way tag team match with all 3 teams switching up. So it was Azumi teaming with Natsupoi to defeat Julia and Tam Nakano, along with Mina Shirakawa and Momo Watanabe. I wish I put it in my notes who. I know Azumi pinned, I believe it was Tom, of all people. So very interesting match, and Azumi and Natsupoi won some certificate, but Azumi wanted to share it with her teammate of Momo. So interesting match, very fun between all 6. So check that out if you can. Then the elimination tag team match, where loser has to join the other one's group. So for Oda Tai, it was Fukigen Death, Konami, Natsuka Tora, Ruaka, and Saki Kashima, defeating stars of Rin Katakura, Hanan, Kogama, Mayu Iwatani, and Starlight Kid, with Tora eliminating Starlight Kid in the end. So yes, Starlight Kid is no more for right now. They did have a show sometime earlier today. I do not know any of the results because I do not follow the Twitter, because you just can't. They spoil you on everything. So she might be the Dark Moon girl now. I don't know. So, but stay tuned for that next week. In the Cinderella Tournament final match, it was Saya Kamatani defeating Maika. A really good match there. And then for the World of Stardom title match, it was Utami Hayashita, who was champion, going against Suri. It went to a double KO after the match was restarted from a 30-minute draw. So yeah, both put on a heck of a match, and then this could not continue. So check that out if you can. After the match, Saya came out to get her crown and glass slipper. Yep, Cinderella Tournament, you got to get your glass slipper. And she challenged Tam Nakano for her white belt. So that match will happen sometime in the next couple months. We move to the States and Unified Wrestling Oklahoma from Midwest City, Oklahoma. For the UWO title number 1 contendership match, Brawler Morrison defeated Double D and Dexter Hardaway. And quickly thereafter, for the UWO title, Brawler Morrison defeated Champion Blade to become new champion. We head to California for RGR Lucha Libre. Jack Cartwheel defeated Matt Vandergriff. Mini Espectrito and Sexy Dulce defeated Christy James and Masquerita Sagrada. That had to be a fun tag team there, especially with Christy and Masquerita. Surprised to see Dulce wrestling, but she did. And then in 6-man tag, it was Andrade El Idolo, Piloto Suicida, and VIP defeating El Hijo del Santo, Mysterioso, and Rey Leon. So that was Andrade's first documented match outside of WWE. So real cool to see there. Pro Wrestling Havoc from Jackson, Michigan. Further heavyweight title in a three-way match. Champion Ace Evans defeated Jake Christ and Matt Cross. Figured put in a Matt Cross match. I haven't seen him in a while. Then to Mission Pro Wrestling, Keep 'em Talking from Buda, Texas. This is Thunder Rosa's promotion, so of course I got to talk about this. Further #1 contendership first round matches. Vert Vixen defeated Rochelle Chanel. Alex Garcia defeated Shauna Reed. Jasmine Allure defeated Gypsy Mac. And Genocide defeated Savannah Evans. There was a tag match of Charlotte Renegade and Robin Renegade defeating Killer Kate and Shishin. In a three-way match, it was Holodead defeating Kylan King and Marty Bell. Really cool. And then for their Mission Pro title, champion La Rosa Negra defeated Masa Slamovich. So Masa really had a busy 4 days there, so all props to her. Then to Magnum Pro Wrestling, Pro Gassed and Furious from Omaha, Nebraska. For their AIWF World Cruiserweight title, champion Jason Strife defeated Ricky Marvin. And then for their Magnum Pro title, champion Red Wing defeated the one called Man Rouge. Down to International Wrestling Cartel, a Reloaded 7 from Elizabeth, Pennsylvania. My bad, I thought this was in Mexico, but this is from Pennsylvania. For the IWC Super Indie 3-Way title match, champion Bill Collier defeated Mance Warner and Matthew Justice. That had to be an awesome match. In a tag team match, Elijah Dean and Jake Nystrom defeated Bushwhacker Luke and the Sexy Fireman. So Bushwhacker Luke actually was in a match. For the IWC Women's title, champion Katie Arquette defeated Jody Threat. And for their World Heavyweight title, champion Andrew Callis defeated Derek Dillinger. Down to Heavy Metal Wrestling, All Killer No Filler from San Antonio, Texas. With Dan the Man on commentary. Johnny Bedlam defeated GPA. Warhorse defeated Prince Adam. Tony Deppen defeated Joe DeMuro. Thomas Shire defeated Jake Something. I call that a little bit of an upset. I was watching that match and was like, really, this dude beat Jake Something. You're killing me, Jake. I talk it warrior. I believe you're a lot better than some of these matches. Then for the undisputed title, T-Ray defeated champion Jay Sirius to become new champion. Now to Mexico and AAA. We had Sting Lethal defeating Flying Spider. That's part of their Marvel Universe matches. El Hijo del Vikingo defeated Octagon Jr. and Viano III Jr. In an outstanding match between these three. They had some crazy bumps. I don't know how Vikingo's still walking. And then the main event was Tejano Jr. and Rey Escorpion defeating Laredo Kid and Psycho Clown. Leading more to their Tripmania. I believe it's Rey Escorpion's hair versus Psycho Clown's mask, I believe. So, of course, they had to go over the ring. To Sunday, June 13th, in Oz Academy, the end of Bright. We had Aja Kong, Hirio Matsumoto, and Yu defeating Koho Kobayashi, Riding Haigan, and Tsubasa Kirigaki. And for the Oz Academy Openweight title, Karu Oniyama defeated champion Sonoko Kato to become new champion. So congrats to Kari, or Fukigen, or Beth, or however you want, but she won a title. Congrats. To Noah, Obima Premium Match Series Day 1, where we had Masaki Mochizuki and Masato Tanaka defeating Okatashi Saito and Mohamed Inoue. Yoshinari Ogawa defeated Kaito Kiyomiya. And we had Daisuke Hirata and Takashi Segura defeating Otushi Koteji and Omichi Marufuji. Then Ice Ribbon had Risa Serra's 6 produced show, Extreme Nuclear Battle, afternoon shows, and evening shows. I'll just go with the final match, where it was Jun Kasai and Rina Yamashita defeating Orca Udo and Risa Serra. Of course, it is a hardcore tournament, so did not really see any of that. No, I'll skip that. We go to Shine 67 from Port Richey, Florida. Amber Nova defeated Sahara 7. For the Shine tag titles, Kimberly and Stormy Lee, who are champions, defeated Allison Kay and Marty Bell. And then for the Shine title, champion Eva Lee's defeated The Woad. So nice to see Eva Lee's still doing well out there. We go back to California and RGR Lucha Libre Night 2. Jack Hartwheel defeated Matt Vandegrift again. Then Christy James and Masquerade Sagrada defeated Mini Espirito and Sexy Dulce. So they got the revenge. I'm guessing there's a third match coming up soon. For the RGR title, champion Vito Fratelli defeated Crazy Chaos. And then El Hijo del Santo and Piloto Suicida defeated Andre El Idolo and Misterioso. So they switched up a couple partners there. Up to Limitless Fortune Favors the Bold from Maine. Becca defeated Divine. Alec Price defeated Kevin Koo. Jody Threat defeated Ava Everett. And JD Drake defeated Beef the Freak. At least JD Drake can still win matches outside of AEW Dark. Sorry. We go to Asylum Wrestling Revolution. Prelude to Death from Indianapolis, Indiana. Braden Lee defeated Aaron Atlas and Theo Storm. For the Revolutionary title, champion Eric Dillinger defeated Calvin Tankman and Sage Phillips. And for the heavyweight title, champion Justin Kyle defeated Mitch Onyx. Then we go down to CMLL, where Euphoria, Mystico, and Titan defeated Dark Panther, Gran Guerrero, and Templario. So I get to see that match soon. I know a couple of those guys. And to IWRG, also in Mexico, so we had Mini Canis Lupus defeating Mini Relampago and Mini Spirit. Arrow Boy and Astro Boy defeated Dynamic Black and Latigo. And Lady Shani with Mamba defeated Jesse Ventura and La Diva Salvage. That was a pretty cool show. I got to see some of that. Thank you, DJ. On to Monday, June 14th, and that's PW's number 19 show, where Miya Yamashita defeated Bruno Neko. And then New Japan Kuzuna Road took place. Just mostly all tag matches again. On to Tuesday, June 15th, and YMZ Gokigen March 2021 Mini 1. Where Mikado defeated Kari Oniyama and Asuka defeated Misa Matsu. And then they had a Mini 2 match, Mini 2 show, and then Kari Oniyama defeated No Igarashi. Okay, on to Tokyoshi Pro Spring Tour 21, Day 9. Miyu Watanabe defeated Moko Miyamoto. Hyper Masao, Nadoka Tenma, and Soka Nakajima defeated Mihiro Kiru, Miru Yumi, and Yuki Kamafuku. Rika Tatsumi defeated Pam Harajuku. Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki defeated Hirono Neko and Yuki Aino. Murika Kobashi and Suzumi defeated Ryushu Endo and Hikari Noah. That was a little bit of a surprise. And Maki Ito with Miyu Yamashita defeated Naoka Kuda and Raku. Really nice show for Tokyoshi Pro, of course. Then New Japan Kazuna Road Day 2 took place. DDT Gambari Pro Face Off 2021, where they have a Gambari Pro Mixed Tag Tournament first round matches. No need to get into all those, since I think the finals are tonight. DDT Dramatic Dream Tour in Hiroshima 2021 after a day show. Chris Brooks and Shunma Katsumata defeated Toru Owashi and Yuki Aino. Back here in the States for New South Action Class number 40 from Hartselle, Alabama. For their New South Tag titles in a three-way match, Braden Toon and Sean Campbell defeated Hunter Drake and Tyler Franks, and Donnie Janela with Shug D to become the champions. To Wednesday, June 16th, and Seedling Sinkaba Night Day 1, Ryo Mizunami defeated Riko Kaiju. And then in a Captain's Fall 10-man tag match, Captain Yumiko Hoto defeated Captain Asuka. New Japan Road Day 3 took place. On Thursday, June 17th, Tokyo Pro, that's JPW number 20, where Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki defeated Miyu Miyumi and Miyu Watanabe. That was a really good match between those four. And then also Tokyo Pro Edition Attack. We had Nodeka Tenma, Yuki Aino, Pama Hirajuku, and Raku defeated Ryusho Endo, Bruno Neko, Moko Miyamoto, and Suzumi. Shoka Nakajima defeated a newcomer of Kaya Terabami. Pretty nice match there. Naoka Kuda and Yuki Kamafuku defeated Mihiru Kiru and Miyu Watanabe. That was also nice as well. Miri Miyumi defeated Yuki Arai. Yuki's part of a single group, and she's doing actually pretty well in these matches, even though she lost, but still good showing nonetheless. Mizuki and Yuki Sakazaki defeated Hyper Masao and Rika Tatsumi. For the International Princess title, champion Hikari Noah defeated Mariko Kobashi. That was a really good match between those two. And then for the Princess tag titles, champions Mei Saint-Masao and Saki-sama defeated Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita by referee's decision. Yeah. As Saki-sama put Miyu to sleep. So Saki-sama is challenging Miyu for her title sometime down the road. Go back to Seedling Shinkaba Night Day 2. For the Seedling Beyond the Sea tag titles, champions Asuka and Mikado defeated Rina Yamashita and Yumika Hoto. And then for the Beyond the Sea title number one contendership match, Ryo Mizunami defeated Nanao Takahashi. Back here in the States for IWRG, back here in Mexico, for IWRG Supremacy, the Lucha Libre Mexicana show, where Esther Boy, Mini Relampago, and Relampago defeated Fly Warrior, Fulgor, and Mini Candice Lupus. That was actually a really good match. If you could check that out, you know where to look quickly. And then Black Terry and Dr. Cerebro defeated Heidi Kuroi and Veneno. Not used to any of those names. To Friday, June 18th, New Japan Consadero Day 4 took place. Back here in the States. Now we're in the States for Paradigm Pro Wrestling. Reasonable Doubt from Columbus, Ohio. Where in a UWFI rules match, Isaiah Browner defeated Calvin Tankman. Cole Radrick defeated Jaden. For the PPW title, champion Myron Reed took on Shug D to a no contest. And then for the heavy hitters title, Isaiah Browner defeated champion Hoodfoot to become new champion. To Ohio Wrestling Alliance, Good Trouble Volume 2 from Columbus, Ohio. Eli Isom defeated Anthony Bennett, and Shane Taylor defeated AC Mack. So a couple of ROH Ring of Honor stars are out and about. And then still in Ohio for Absolute Intense Wrestling, major announcement from Cleveland, Ohio. Dominic Garina defeated Eric Taylor by DQ, which led to Dominic Garina teaming with Tom Lawler. Quickly off his final MMA win, they defeated Eric Taylor and the Duke. Ethan Wright defeated Lee Moriarty, and a really good match there. And then Trey Lamar defeated Marino Tenagalia by referee's decision. Pretty much he tapped Marino out. And then in the 8-man tag main event, Joshua Bishop, Wes Barkley, Cheech, and Colin Delaney defeated Brian Myers, Mark Sterling, Matt Cardona, and Swaggle. Of course, they pinned Mark to get the easy win. Not that Mark's not that great of a wrestler, but he's not the best. Matt Cardona was booed astoundingly since he has now Atomic Indie Heat for challenging the Gage. And at the end of the match, Swaggle seemed to imply that that might have been his last match. I don't know. He looked fine to me in the match, but it is Swaggle, and he was just happy to be there. So, all the best to you, Swaggle. Then to Future Stars of Wrestling 11th Anniversary Show, Calm Before the Storm. For the Nevada State Championship, champion Remy Marcel defeated Jimmy Jacobs. Yes, Jimmy Jacobs was back in action. For their Women's Championship, champion Maserati defeated Sandra Moon by DQ. After Sandra's manager hit the ref, inadvertently, of course. Though the match was proclaimed to Sandra after pinning Maserati, the original referee came back and declared Maserati the winner. Yeah, kind of saw that coming after a while, but good match nonetheless. Chris Bay defeated Casey Navarro. That was the match of the night, since I got to see a lot of wrestling yesterday. Hopefully that can come to Warrior. That would be awesome to see. Then there was a 30-person Rumble where Juicy Finau and EC3 co-won the match, leading to their main event tonight at the 12th anniversary show for the FSW heavyweight title held by Hammerstone. So it will be a triple threat match with Juicy, EC3, and Hammerstone later tonight. On to New Japan Strong with number 45. Ignition 2021. Josh Alexander made his debut, defeating Alex Coughlin. Bear Brown and Bateman defeated Adrian Quest and Fred Rosser. And Sotechi Kojima defeated JR Krotos. Then there was another CMLL show where they're holding the Torneo Incredible tags matches. The only semifinal match was Christico and Virus defeating Blue Panther Jr. and Samson. I'm not getting into all those other matches. There were a lot. And then on to earlier today for Saturday, June 19th. Final show I got to see, Tokyo Yoshi Pro Spring Tour Day 10. Maki Ito defeated Mihiro Kiru. Hyper Masao defeated Miyu Watanabe and Pam Harajuku. Kaya Torabami, Marika Kobashi, and Mizuki defeated Miyumi Suzumi and Usho Endo. Mei St. Michelle and Saki-sama defeated Moko Miyamoto and Raku. Kind of saw that one coming. Hikari Noa, Yuki Aino, and Yuki Kamafuku defeated Hiro Neko, Naoka Kuda, and Rika Tatsumi. Really fun match there. And the main event was Miyu Yamashita and Yuka Sakazaki defeated Nodeka Tenma and Soko Nakajima. That was a really good main event. Sorry this indie cut went so long, but that's a wrap for me. Till next time where I recap more indie shows, which there are a lot more this weekend, and any news from around the wrestling world. Don't forget to check out those Twitch streams and YouTube channels for more wrestling action. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the cut. Keep safe, take care, and be kind to everyone. Back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Charlie. So right now we're going to move right into the next segment of the show where I get to play Armchair Promoter, and of course that is the Fantasy Booker. So the Fantasy Booker for this week, now this is a match that has happened before, but it has not happened for quite some time, and I think it would be very interesting to see it happen now after, a number of years. And I'm talking about Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards, the former American Wolves, going head to head. Now, like I said, this match has happened before in Ring of Honor. Both men are former Ring of Honor world champions. Davey Richards just made his return to pro wrestling after about 4 years off. And, of course, Eddie Edwards has gone through a lot of changes with his character in that time since he's been on his own, since Davey Richards took some time off. And, I mean, there's a built-in storyline there, whether it takes place in Impact or MLW or Ring of Honor or on the independents. You know, there's a built-in storyline there. Former tag team partners, Eddie Edwards could, you know, play the part of, oh, you just abandoned me and left me on my own and that kind of stuff. And you know, it would just be a crazy good match. This is a match I would love to see Warrior Wrestling book, because I would love to be on the call for this one. But yeah, Davey Richards, of course, will be making his Warrior Wrestling debut on July 17th, so me and Charlie G will be on the call for that one. Make sure you download the Podbean app and check that out, because I can't wait. I am so excited to be able to call a Davey Richards match. I can't even tell you guys, but yeah, they have not named his opponent yet. I don't know. Warrior has been putting so much stuff out there, I'm losing track of it sometimes, but yeah, I can't wait for that one. But Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards, you know, would just be an amazing match. Both guys are ridiculously good in the ring, and they know each other so well, have such great chemistry. It would, whatever show it's on, it would steal the show. I have no doubt about that. So that's my fantasy booker for this week. I want to see Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards at some point. So let's get into the last segment of the show here, where I give something of an unpopular opinion most of the time, and that's called the Weekly Hot Take. All right, so going back to what I was talking about a few minutes ago with, you know, Fox wanting to do some crossover stuff with WWE and some of their other sports properties, wrestling and NASCAR doesn't work. It's been tried multiple times by multiple companies. It doesn't work. WCW tried it. Impact tried it. WWE even dabbled in it a little bit, not officially with NASCAR, but if you remember when Bob Holly first started, he, you know, his character was a race car driver, Thurman Sparky Plug, as they called him, you know, and it just, you know, I think the reason it doesn't work, I don't think there's a lot of crossover between the fans of NASCAR and wrestling fans. You know, and that's not a slight against either one. NASCAR, one of the biggest sports in the world, you know, and they got millions of fans all over the place. It just, I don't think there's that crossover appeal between wrestling fans and NASCAR fans. I don't think a lot of NASCAR fans are also wrestling fans. I'm not saying there aren't any. I'm sure there's plenty. But I don't think it's on the level to where, you know, it's just, like I said, it's been tried and it's never been hugely successful. So, and I think that's just due to not a lot of crossover with the fan bases. And if you know, Fox would do a little research on that, they'd figure it out. I mean, WCW tried it. They had a WCW NASCAR for a while. They had an NWO NASCAR for a while. And it just didn't hit real big. You know, you in the early days of Impact or TNA, as they were known then, you saw NASCAR drivers appearing on the show and actually getting physically involved in storylines and stuff like that. And again, it didn't have that huge appeal. You know, I think there's just a very small section of fans that really follow both sports. So I don't think that's going to work, honestly. So I'm hoping WWE will shoot that idea down, because I don't see it being successful. Now, the NFL is a different story. There's always been a lot of crossover between football and wrestling. You know, you look at guys like Moose, who had a very successful NFL career. Rob Gronkowski, been involved numerous times with WWE. Throughout history, a lot of wrestlers also, you know, had very successful football careers, whether it was at the professional or the college level. Guys like Vader, guys like Ernie Ladd, Cowboy Bill Watts, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and just numerous guys throughout the years. So there's always been a lot of crossover between football and wrestling. So if it's done right, that may be a little bit more successful and could, you know, could do some big numbers. But like I said, it's got to be done right. And I don't have the confidence between Fox and the WWE that it will be done right. So, again, it's kind of a wait-and-see situation. It's just rumor at this point. But the NASCAR thing, I do not have confidence in that at all, because it's been tried and it has never worked. But who knows? I could be completely wrong. They could surprise us all, but I really don't think so. That's just my opinion. So yeah, that's gonna pretty much wrap things up for this week. Coming up next week, of course, I'll have the Hell in the Cell results and everything else that goes on in wrestling over the next week. But again, I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Make sure to go to catchhookshoot.com. You can find the podcast, the videos, interviews, photo gallery. Check out the events page for stuff that's coming up. I'll be loading up the information for the next Warrior Wrestling event there coming up sometime over the next week. I'll have the link for the Podbean live broadcast, as well as where you can get your tickets and where you can watch it on pay-per-view and things like that. So keep an eye on that. That's catchhookshoot.com/events. And also check out the shop there for all the t-shirts and hats and all that kind of fun stuff. catchhookshoot.com/shop. Make sure you're following on social media. You can find us at catchhookshoot on all platforms. Head to prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot for more t-shirts that you won't find on the shop on catchhookshoot.com. You can find all that and more on our Linktree, which is linktree/catchhookshoot, or scan the QR code right here in the corner if you're watching on YouTube. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up. Hope everybody enjoys Hell in a Cell coming up tonight. Enjoy all the great wrestling coming up over the next week, and I will talk to you guys soon.